Tēnā koutou, assalamu alaikum, Ramadan Kareem, peace be with you all. Thank you, Abdul, for your kind words acknowledging all the politicians that are here today. But let me first acknowledge the 51 shuhada from the March 15 attacks, to their families, to the widows, the injured, and to those who witnessed those terrible events. I would like to acknowledge the pain that you have endured, but also the strength that you have shown these past 5 years. I am especially privileged and humbled that you have invited myself and both current and former government ministers and government officials to share iftar with you this evening. Thank you. I would also like to acknowledge Imam Gamal and the community at Al Noor Mosque, as well as Imam Latif and the Linwood Islamic Centre community. Thank you for your warm welcome too. This sacred month of Ramadan is a time for faith, for worship and reflection for our Muslim community. For those gathered here tonight and around New Zealand, it is also a solemn moment to remember. We remember the terrorist attack that happened 5 years ago today in this very place and at Linwood Islamic Centre on a Friday, the holiest day of the week in Islam. We remember and honour the 51 shuhada we lost. We share in the grief that many of you carry, not just today, but every day. To you and to Muslims touched by this event around New Zealand and the world, I am so sorry for your loss. The March 15 terrorist attack on our Christchurch mosques was a national tragedy, and it was an attack on all of us. We lost neighbours, we lost friends, schoolmates and work colleagues. And it was an attack on the best of New Zealand values of diversity, unity and peace. And like all of us, I remember that day very well. I heard the news and immediately headed to the airport to travel to Christchurch to support Air New Zealand staff at the time and operations where I remained for several days. And sadly, one of our Air New Zealand whānau, Lilik Abdul Hamid, lost his life in those terrible events in this place. And Lilik was part of our engineering team here in Christchurch for 16 years. And man, he was a hard worker, both well liked and well respected. Lilik was also quite a character. He was professional and dedicated. He always had a huge smile and he had a terrific sense of humour. Believe it or not, he loved the two Ronnies. And a love of the outdoors, especially fishing. And Lilik loved the Kiwi way of life, and he liked to claim that he was born in the Haka Valley, just next door to Richie McCaw, and took every opportunity to join in a haka at a rugby game. Now his immigrant story is no different from many of yours here. He and his wife Nina packed up and left everything that they knew behind them to come to Christchurch from Indonesia. They worked hard. They raised their children, Zania and Geran, and contributed to our community. And they, like you, are a great example of why New Zealand is an infinitely stronger, richer and better place because of a passionate, diverse and strong Muslim community. And I would also like tonight to acknowledge the leadership of the former Prime Minister, Dame Jacinda Ardern, who spoke for us all at that time and led New Zealand through those dark days so extremely well. And I would also like to thank Leanne Dalziel, and Megan Woods and Andrew Little for their leadership and their genuine engagement with the community here in Christchurch in the subsequent years. We share your sorrow, and if this hall were large enough, I know that there would be millions of other New Zealanders who would be equally honoured to be here with you all tonight. I remember how your fellow New Zealanders embraced the Muslim community, to let them know that they were not alone. I remember being moved, watching Kiwis come together, standing in solidarity and surrounding mosques up and down this country to protect our Muslim brothers and sisters as they prayed outside in the open in defiance of terror. Well, tonight is a chance for us to come together in remembrance, but it's also a chance to acknowledge Ramadan, a month that celebrates your discipline, resilience and faith as Muslims. And reflecting on the past 5 years, I have been inspired by how our Muslim communities have lived out these values, even in the face of enormous suffering. You have come together across many diverse cultures to care for each other through tragedy. You have used your experience to speak out powerfully against hate and violence towards all faiths, all people and all groups. In Christchurch and around the country, you have opened your doors and your hearts to the wider community to build understanding, just like you have from me and my colleagues this week and tonight. Earlier this week, and again today, I had the tremendous chance to meet with some of you and to experience your immense courage and kindness firsthand. Your example to all of us is inspiring. Our Muslim community justifiably could have chosen to respond to this terrible act with anger, with hate and withdrawal, and yet you have modelled to all of us your wonderful faith, love, compassion, engagement, peace and hope. So on March 15, we remember that you have lost a great deal, but you have also gifted us and found the resilience and compassion to give us so much. And as your guests, it is a great honour and privilege to be among you and to be so graciously received by you today. For how you've welcomed us today and at all times, and for all you continue to give to our community and our country each and every day, I can only say thank you. Jazak Allah Karam. Thank you very much.